We haven't reviewed She-Hulk for a while, since I took a break for a month and then I was sick for a week. So I haven't really had the time to really get into She-Hulk again. But we're starting to. Yes, I know issue 15 has already came out, but I haven't even reviewed issue 14 yet. I know I'm late, but I'm going to catch up, I promise. Speaking of which, this has a very cool cover. It's a little misleading, but I still like it. I just really love the blue pastel color and the Scoundrel and She-Hulk's green against the background of red. Is it basic? Yes. Do I like it? Also yes. This story starts off with She-Hulk having a meeting with the Fantastic Four over the newest crook who was stolen from Reed. That being the Scoundrel, aka Nicholas, who clearly has a visible crush on Jen. They question as to why that is, as well as why he's stealing the tech he has taken. Reed believes that he's making a bomb, but Jen isn't so convinced because he is just a thief. Why would a thief want to make a bomb? That is a pretty big step in the villain staircase, metaphorically speaking, of course. From thief to terrorist. Jen then is supposed to leave for court where she is going to represent 8-Ball, but Thing stops her to talk as he knows that she started to date someone who we all know as the readers know it's Jack of Hearts. But he questions as if that this perp that they're going after is actually her new boyfriend, which actually seems to almost offend Jen of this accusation, with telling him that it isn't and slamming the door on her way out, which does make sense for her to be upset because these are her friends and they're questioning if she's dating a criminal, who Reed is straight up saying is a possible terrorist. And they're accusing her of being in cahoots with him, which, yeah, I would be offended too. The 8-Ball court trial happens off panel. Jen goes back to work where she finds Mallory and Andy using tricks with Scoundrel's weaponry, who apparently gave it to them as a gift, which Jen recognizes and learns that they're meant to represent him, which makes her of course very upset. Which also makes me question how is that possible, he is a wanted criminal. Jen goes home to her apartment where Jack isn't anywhere to be found, and then she gets a call from him where he says that he's doing something and he'll be gone for a while. That being that he'll be dispersing his radioactive energy and he won't be around any people, including Jen, to do so. But it won't be forever, he will return, just not at the moment. Which while Jen is sad about, she does understand that this is what's best for him. She then gets a call from the Scoundrel, who for some unknown reason has her phone number. Which, yes, I know she's a lawyer and her number is on her job cards, but she should have a personal phone and a phone for work. And she's answering the phone, which is the same phone she was just talking to Jack on. So was Jack calling her on her work phone, or is Scoundrel calling her on her personal phone, or does she just have one phone? She really shouldn't have her personal phone and her work phone to be the same phone. Anyways, she isn't happy to hear from Nick, but he explains he stopped stealing and tells her why he was stealing the tech in the first place. Or that he will once she comes to see him. Because he's actually at her window coming out of a jet. He brings her aboard showing off everything he's stolen. Jen is impressed by his decorating skills, but not really by his thieving skills. And he also has a cheese platter out, thinking that she might be hungry. Jen demands that he tells her what is going on, as he had promised to do so. He puts on music and then proceeds to force her to dance with him before he's willing to tell her why he stole the tech in the first place, where he explains that he stole the tech that he had taken for a bidder who had paid him. Nick then insists that Jen likes him back, and how she freezes as they dance from what he says, it seems as if that might be a possibility. But as they keep dancing, we see that Jen is actually enjoying herself, as well as learning that Nicholas got his powers from a witch. Therefore, he's magical based. They do lean towards one another, almost kissing, but she backs away telling him that she has a boyfriend. Which, like I said previously, is likely a setup for a three-way love triangle between her, Scoundrel, and Jack. But we see that Jen isn't fully falling for this. Instead, she's actually playing along to get information. Such as the fact that Nick had actually stolen the bomb parts from an alien called Drakgurg, which surprises her. Also the fact that apparently he wants to blow up Manhattan. And the Scoundrel just didn't care, because in his defense, he doesn't like New York. So why would he care if New York just got bombed? But that is why he did take Jen out of the city, hoping to protect her. Meaning he actually does very much like her, and that this flirtation isn't just a game for him. And from how she acts in this moment, it seems as if that potentially goes both ways. Although one could also just say that Jen was playing him the entire time. It's a little hard to tell because there aren't any thought balloons, which I think would very much help this moment to explain how Jen herself is feeling as this whole thing is going down between her and Nicholas. She replies by just throwing him through a wall, which was pretty funny, and that concludes the issue. I'll hopefully get to the next issue before Halloween. I do think that Jen comes across smart, even though that shows that she has actual feelings for Nick. That being that she actually is using him for information, and that she isn't fully falling for him. I do think that her being offended by the Fantastic Four did also work, because it made sense why they would make sure that she wasn't getting over her head, that by, dating Nick. But you'd also understand why she would be offended by the accusation, especially because of her history with the team, and that they would think that there was a possible chance that she would date a possible terrorist, who of course isn't an actual terrorist, but at that moment they did think that it was a possibility that he was. This issue also felt a little short, even if it had the same amount of pages as previous issues, which I would personally say is my one complaint about the issue. That being because I think the time spent in Nicholas's whole jet is kind of stretched out a little too long. I would have liked to have seen her at work a little bit more in this issue and a little less on the jet. But that's really just nitpicking. And that's the end of this review. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!